All right. Um, mhm. Hey there, and welcome. In this video, or this particular tutorial, as I like to call it, I'm going to teach you how to create a faceless survival channel from scratch. This is a case study from a channel that got 347 million views in 3 months and about 424,000 subscribers. When I first saw this channel, it nearly had about maybe 50K subs. And it's astounding how it grows. I think one time I was checking it, it had around 150K, and overnight, I checked it the next morning, it went from 150K to 200K. And of course, I believe that it can still go even super viral. Now, the incredible thing about these videos is that even though they're AI for the most part, they can be monetized, okay? Because these are what you call story videos or story shorts. They're original. You can't generate this video with just one simple prompt. It's impossible, okay? Those of you that might think that this is done through one prompt or there is one software where all this can be done at one time, you're mistaken, because I've ran 8 of these channels in the previous month. The biggest one, the largest one, was a 9,500 subs. Second after that, 7,000. Then we had one at about 6,800. Then we had one 5,800. So in total, the 8 channels combined, I think we could easily are at about maybe 70 to 80K subscribers. And we did that in 1 month. And I know firsthand the mistakes you must not make when making these videos. Number one, before we do anything, before we go into the branding, before we go into the channel uh, planning and the character design and all of that, you have to put into your mind one thing. You can work on a channel for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, but if you don't do it right, at one point, the YouTube algorithm picks up on that and sanctions you in a way that is popular, which everybody knows what I'm talking about. It's called shadow ban. A lot of my channels, at one point, I had this problem. That's why I'm warning you against it. I had some channels that were extremely fantastic for a new channel, some of which have achieved 4 million views in their first month. And when I say the first month, that is actually an odd thing because not many channel can have 4 million views in the first month. But what happens is when you post videos from the same IP address, especially if you have multiple channels, what then happens is that YouTube will let you run free for pretty much the better part of 2 months, 3 months at most. And then they'll start noticing, okay, so we see a pattern here. The same IP that posts these videos is the same IP that posts these other videos on the other channel, and they'll make a link between your channels. So if you're planning on maybe turning this, which is extremely possible, you can take this tutorial here and you can make a business out of it. That's what we're doing basically. I mean, I'm not here to sing. I'm not a music artist or musical artist. This stuff that we're teaching is actually really the real deal, though most people don't really recognize that. And that's a common occurrence because what matters is what most people don't pay attention to for the most part. And people always pay attention to what doesn't really matter, what's not going to help them in life. They pay attention to that, but what matters is not really paid attention to that much. If you're paying attention right now, then know this: this can very well be a highly successful business for you. Let's talk financially here. I'm not promising any financial gain because I have no control over YouTube. But from my experience on YouTube, if we can discuss, I mean, this channel obviously have 174 videos. By the way, this is so it's possible, it's extremely possible to achieve this in 3 months. If you're posting two videos a day, one video at morning, one video at night, or one video in the morning, one video in the evening, however you like to do it, making these videos will probably, or each of these videos will probably take you 30 minutes to 1 hour. And you will see. I mean, we're obviously going to go through a case study here and you'll see what I'm talking about. But making these videos should not be a very difficult thing, all right? Should not be a very difficult thing at all. But the consistency is important, such as what this particular person did here. His channel is called The Primal Age. 174 videos, that means he was posting maybe one video a day for 6 months or two videos a day for 3 months. And his most popular video is 87 million views, 52 million, 27, da 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 da, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so I'm not going to keep looking at that because you can easily do this. And probably by the time you visit this channel, you might notice that they have, I don't know, maybe 1 million subscribers. I don't know. I've seen channels jump in 1 month from nothing to 2 million subscribers. I've seen that real time. One time I remember was one of my competitors and I was competing. You know, these videos, they're called, it's not technically deep fakes, but it's players, right? Cristiano and Messi and Neymar, and they're kind of competing for something. Usually the way videos start is with Messi having a better car or a girlfriend or something like this. Then Ronaldo is poor, and then obviously Ronaldo turns that away or turns that upside down. He becomes the rich guy, and Messi becomes the poor guy. You know, those kinds of videos. I'm not sure if you've ever seen those, but I've pretty much, I think in 1 month we've reached. It's fair to say maybe close to 25 million views across all those channels. Now, 25 million views can amount to, if all the channels are monetized, it can amount to 2K, certainly 2K, which is not bad for a side business. But back to the point here, I saw that competitor jump from nothing. I mean, literally, how many subscribers did they have? I think maybe they had like 5,000. I don't know, 10,000. I don't know. Maybe, but that was a small number of subscribers. You might hear me say 10,000 and say that it's a low number of subscribers, and yes, it's true. 10,000 subscribers is low. Okay, it's not that big for these types of AI channels. You can get more than that. And I saw them with one video that they posted. I remember it very vividly. And they jumped in 1 day. I kept their channel open on my tab. And the next morning, when I refreshed the page, they already had above 100,000 subscribers. So in 1 day, they are not even 1 day, let's say one night, because I kept their channel open, went to sleep, came back, they had over 100,000 subscribers. Now, how did they do that? Well, they created AI videos and story videos and they just attempted their luck. Let's talk financially. This video here is 87 million views. It's not a 50-second clip or 30-second clip. I believe this is a bit bigger than that. Maybe it's a 1 minute 10 seconds or 1 minute 20 seconds, if I remember correctly. Now, hear me out. If you make 20-second clips on YouTube, you're not going to get paid very well. YouTube will only pay you pretty well as long as your shorts are above 35 seconds. The reason for this is because YouTube is not going to be able to play advertisements for a 20-second clip. Yes, they do play advertisements on shorts. And if your video is 20 seconds, that kind of hinders YouTube's capability to play ads. And that means less money for you. So the pay difference between a 20-second video and a 45-second video, which is above the 35-second video mark that we spoke about right now, can be almost like the difference between the earth and the sun. It can be like 10 times more. You can get paid 0.01 bucks for 1,000 views for a 15-second clip, which is pennies, because if you make 10 million views, you're only going to get 100 bucks. But on the other side, if you make longer form videos, YouTube will be able to play ads and you can get paid. This happened in my case. I can speak from my experience. Sometimes I even reached with shorts, and that is incredibly surprising. With shorts, I often reached 0.20, 0.26. One time I even reached 0.3, which is huge because for a 1 million views video, you can get paid 300 bucks, assuming you had 1 million engaged viewers, because the way YouTube Shorts work is YouTube is going to pay you for engaged viewers. If a viewer views the video twice, you'll only get paid one time per viewer. So you're not going to get paid for the views. You're going to get paid for the engaged views because pay attention that some people repeat the videos. For 87 million views, now let me just open this video here. I would like you to analyze it. I'm probably going to play a couple of videos. I could play these on even while I'm recording, and the reason is because they're not using any music that is copyrighted, so therefore I am allowed to play. But if I were to check the duration of this video, I can just move the cursor to the end, and it's 1 minute 14. And plus, this video title is in English, and all the metadata, if I click, the description is in English. Now, of course, here they have to disclose that they're using AI to create the videos, which you can do when you're uploading your video. YouTube is going to ask you, does your video contain altered content? You have to check the box yes, that your video is and has altered content. Mind you that this was posted in December the 6th of 2025. It was quite a long time ago, I must admit. But it seems that the owner of this channel was kind of going and coming back and going and coming back. So he wasn't pretty consistent, right? If he was consistent, I'd assume he would have had a lot more success. So he probably posts a bunch of videos, then gets a couple of million views. Then next time he posts maybe 10 more videos and he doesn't get as many views, and he probably gives up and forgets about the channel for a month, to only then to come back after he maybe finds out that one of his videos has just gone viral all of a sudden, and then he comes back with motivation, posts more videos, and then loses some hope again after a couple of his videos don't get viral, and goes. And so that the back and forth, that's what sometimes kills channels. But I mean, he eventually ended up in a pretty good spot, to be fair. So the reason why I'm talking about the fact that it's important that your video title, description, and tags must be in English is because if your video title and tags, and quite frankly, even the music you use in your video, because sometimes some viewers or some YouTubers incorporate music, as I mean, I did for countless videos. When you incorporate a viral music, just ensure that the music you incorporate is targeting a worldwide audience, not a specific location. Let me explain. If the music that you're going to play in your video is a music that is pretty much specific to a particular country, let's say India. Let's say in the Indian culture, there is a music sound that is popular with the Indian culture. Chances are, if you post, or not chances are, but 100%, if you use that music in your video, the YouTube algorithm is obviously going to know the name of the music and they're going to tag it. And you'll notice if you watch videos, just pay careful attention. The music is already tagged, is always tagged in the bottom. Okay. Now, that music has data. Okay. YouTube has the data of who watched that music. And so, therefore, when they analyze that data, they're going to come with the conclusion okay, this music was mostly played in India. 99.99% of the people that listen to this music were in India. Okay. All right. So, they're going to immediately come to the conclusion that because this was played in India, let's just show it to the Indian market. And they're going to show it to the Indian people. I have nothing against the Indian people, but with YouTube, there is such a thing called the RPM, or otherwise known as the CPM, cost per mile, how much you can get paid for 1,000 views. Now, if you're in India, if you get views from India for your videos, if your videos are mostly viewed in India, that RPM, call it CPM, is going to be much lower. About if we do the math, which I already did for you, you don't need to go and do it. It's going to be 10 times lower than how much you can get paid if your video is viewed on in the United States, for example. So let's just for it to sink in, okay? 10 million views in India, 10 million views in the US. 10 million views in India could make you at best $300 if you get $0.03 for 1,000 views, which I doubt that you will ever get. So for 10 million, you only take home 300. As opposed to that, if you're in the US, or if your video is viewed in the US, UK, mostly English speaking countries with a higher potential for purchase, because YouTube only values an audience as much or values the audience as much, if they have the power to purchase. Okay. And we know English audiences have more power to purchase online. That's what what YouTube is looking for. So the difference is 10 million in the US, UK, English speaking audiences, or European. You can get, I would say, maybe at least 0.1 dollar for 1,000. So that could amount to $1,000 in terms of how much you can earn, assuming that you have out of 10 million, I would say 80% is going to be engaged views, 70% in the worst case scenario. So 7 million, you're going to get paid for 7 million. They're probably not going to pay you 0.1. They're going to pay you maybe something like 0.15, 0.16. You can expect something like that. So it could be your pay would be in the range of 1,000 to a little bit more than that, maybe 1,200. But it's going to be in that area, 1,000. That's what I would say. So $100 here, $1,000 here. The only difference is that you might have used the music thinking that, oh, it's a cool Indian music. Okay, let's just put it there. But YouTube doesn't view it that way. YouTube doesn't view it as, okay, you just put it there. The music is just there, but this video is not targeted Indian audiences. They don't care. As long as you use an Indian music that is only listened to in India, your video is going to be classified as an Indian target video that targets the Indian population. And the problem with that, less pay from YouTube, you're going to get paid less. And another thing is, YouTube doesn't really refresh their algorithm that much. So think of it this way: first impression lasts. If the YouTube algo takes the wrong idea about your channel, chances are they're going to keep that idea forever or for months, unless you stop posting on your channel for a substantial amount of time and then come back and post again, but do it the right way. They always say, or experts say, it's very important to pay attention to how you post your first video, even down to the time. Some people think, oh, okay, I did everything right. My video is targeting the English audiences, as you said, but I post this video at 3 p.m., but then I posted tomorrow's video on 5 p.m. and then the next day's video I posted it on 1 p.m. and then the next day's video I posted it on 7 p.m. That is bad because you're not keeping the same schedule, which means that when you post your video, your audience is not going to be able to keep up with that pattern. And believe me, YouTube appreciates you keeping a pattern of posting. If you post today at 3 p.m., make sure that tomorrow you post exactly at 3 p.m. You might ask me, well, how can I do it? Just make sure that you do your video before 2 p.m. And then when you get it at that deadline, when you're posting, there's an option in YouTube which is called schedule. You can schedule a video to be posted exactly at 3 p.m. And if you do it for 30 months, not 30 months, for 30 days, and you post your video exactly at every single day, every single time, in the same hour, checking every box that we spoke about, then you have a big chance of your channel making it because then YouTube is going to seriously think of you as a serious operator. Another thing is don't change the IP addresses when you're posting. If you post from Saudi Arabia, make sure that you keep posting from Saudi Arabia. Don't use a VPN. If you post from America, post from America. Don't try to use a VPN or think that you can outsmart YouTube by making them believe that you're posting from Portugal or Spain or whatever, or England, because that is only going to make it tough for you when you're trying to monetize your channel. Because the moment you try to monetize your channel, what happens is YouTube is going to ask you to create a Google AdSense account. And so when you create a Google AdSense account, the issue that can arise is when YouTube notices that you've posted 30 videos and all 30 videos have been posted from Portugal. But you don't live in Portugal. On your AdSense account, the data that you provide is that you live, for example, in Norway or whatever, Ireland, whatever. So that's different from Portugal. YouTube is going to have their own suspicions. Most likely, they would reject your application for a Google AdSense account because you're posting from Portugal, but you say that you're living in Ireland. So make sure that your location from where you post is absolutely in exactly the same location as the one from which or in which you live. Okay. Another thing, and that's it because we need to move on to practice here and start making some videos. Is this: make sure that if you think about having multiple channels, that you don't do it on your own. Don't create multiple emails in the same computer and run multiple channels on the same computer. Try maybe to divide. If you have a friend, a brother, a wife, a girlfriend, try to have them also create a channel and try to give them the video so that they can post it by themselves from their own computer or device. And another thing is, having multiple channels doesn't mean success. I know multiple fake gurus out there have got this into your brain that, hey, I have 30 channels, but I doubt that. Okay. I doubt that they're able to really keep up because you have to imagine this 30 channels is crazy. Okay. It's a crazy amount of work. You know how many hours you need to spend on brainstorming and script writing for those videos? You think that there is any person in the world that can do that unless they need to hire about 10 people and each person takes care of 3 channels. And still, it's a tough job because those 10 people at one point are going to get saturated. They're no longer going to be able to get more ideas. They're probably going to be depressed because they're doing the same thing over and over. So the cure is not to really have multiple channels, is to maybe just have one channel, but to do it the right way and to focus on it and to give your all. Like for instance, here, this guy, this is one channel. They have 347 million views, which would probably mean that he already made about maybe 30K US dollars. 30K US dollars is a pretty good amount of money, assuming that this guy is probably just a student somewhere, or maybe he's working and doing this part time as a hobby. And it worked out well for him because he probably isn't focused on too many things at the same time. He probably is just doing this, focused on this. Maybe he has another side gig that he's doing on the side, but he's also focused on this. His focus is not scattered across eight channels or 10 channels. You won't be able to keep up, and he's just gonna burn out. Now, let's watch this first video right here. I'm not afraid for any copyright issues there because I believe that we can watch this with no problem at all. So let's watch. I'm going to play this full screen and I'm going to be silent as the grave as to let you just analyze what happens. And then at the end, we're going to debate the script in about 2 or 3 minutes because the way these videos are scripted must be studied. And we're going to actually put some words, and I'm going to come up with, I already know this because I've done this many times, but I'm going to give you the framework with one, two, three, four as to how you need to script all your videos the same way. Let's do this. One, two, three. All right. So let us just debate this and analyze what happens here. So, in any video that you want to make successful, you need a strong hook. The hook is that first part of the video. We know that we live in an age where people don't have much of an attention span, myself included. Okay, if I don't like a video, usually I would swipe next during the first second or two. So, in order to keep people in, you need a strong hook. Much like in e commerce, if you want people to buy your product, you need a strong hook. It's as simple as that. Now, the strong hook in this case was the serpent or the king cobra biting the man. And, it's kind of weird because the lion didn't really move, kind of like just chilling there. We know that felines have a very high sense of alertness when it comes to danger. So he would have already noticed the cobra coming from 20 meters long and he would have woken the man to escape. But this is just an AI video, right? So another thing that you need to put in mind, do not try to be perfect. Here, this guy didn't try to be perfect. Result 87 million views, close to 80, 88. And to be honest, I'm pretty sure that this video is going to continue to get a lot more views. Maybe even get, I don't know, 1 billion. It's possible. It's very possible. I've seen that. I've seen some videos that had 40 million and over 1 year, 2 years. I checked the same videos that I used to watch and to find that they have 1 billion views and some crazy thing like that. You know, in some countries, 1 billion views on a YouTube short can buy you a house. So that's how crazy it is. Another thing I failed to mention is that with YouTube, the more views you get, the more your CPM grows. Put that in mind. If you get 20 million, you're going to get paid more than if you get 10 million, because YouTube is noticing this video is getting the traction. So they're going to pay you more because they want you to make more videos like that, because your video obviously kept 87 million people or 87 million eyeballs focused on YouTube. That's 87 million people that they played advertisements in front of. That's not something you can easily do. So that's why they reward creators. The more views you get, the higher your CPM. So here, the man obviously was bitten by a cobra. He's in trouble. The lion is his friend, companion. So obviously he went, and he just, because he's the king of the jungle. And it's an interesting choice to choose a lion, a black lion with green eyes. That has also contributed to the success of this channel, is because they didn't use a regular lion. They didn't use a regular brown lion, African lion, what you call it, with normal traits. They've used a black lion with green eyes. Never seen such a lion. It doesn't exist. But the lion used his authority as the king of the jungle, and he went and started to get people, or not get people, but he got the eagle to go and fly and find some cure. And then he came to the gorilla and pretty much asked for the gorilla's help as well. Now the eagle is flying in the air, and he's basically getting somewhere. Now he got to where there's a plant. He's taking the plant, and then the gorilla, obviously, because he's the one with the hands, so pay attention to the details, because he's the one with the hands. He's the only one that can apply the cure. Now the eagle comes, does his part. He takes the plants and squeezes the juice out of them, puts them on the wounded guy, and then all of a sudden he's now waking up, and now they're all sleeping together happily. And pay close attention that the eagle is also at the top right there. Now this is absolutely not very consistent. Okay, so this guy here doesn't look exactly like this guy here at the end. They're not the same. I mean, just look at their haircut is different. Their face is different at the end. But they did a pretty fantastic job. Now, if you ask me what software are these guys using, I will tell you these guys are most likely using Google VO3. I know Google VO3 videos when I see ones, and these guys are using Google VO3. If you were to use Google VO3, making this video will probably cost you $20, because it will take about maybe 10 to 15 scenes in order to achieve this. Let's just say 10 scenes, okay? Because VO3 generates videos in 8 seconds, or 8-second clips. This is a 1 minute and 14-second video. So if you make 10 videos, that is going to be about, pretty much 1 minute and 14 seconds. The math correctly, it's 1 minute and 16 seconds, which is close to this. So I believe they've probably created 10 videos. But those are the only the 10 successful videos. Because with VO3, sometimes it might give you a video that is not good. It's not cool to use in your editing. So you're going to have to rinse and repeat. You're going to have to edit the prompt, try again, get another scene. And so at the end, maybe you could spend anywhere between, 10 if you're perfect, if you're the perfect guy, which is not possible. I'd say at least going to mess up 5 or 6 videos, and you're going to have to redo them. So that costs you. Making a video like this is going to cost you at least $20. I would say $20 to $30, because it costs about $2.99 to make one 8-second clip using Google VO3. So yes, he's spending money. He's making money as well. He's made far more than he's spent. Maybe 200 times more than he has spent on this video is what he earned. But we can do this a different way. There's a software by a guy called Elon Musk, which I'm pretty sure you already heard of. I'm just being sarcastic here. I don't think anybody I don't think people never heard of Elon Musk. Everybody has heard of him. But he has a software called Grok. That is what we're going to use. So Grok is for the low budget. If you want to make a video high quality on low budget, Grok is the one. So, but first, before we use Grok or anything, let me just go ahead and type some stuff. I'm just going to go and start a new page here. I want to type the framework that you need to start with. So, number one is the hook. Now, the hook should be very engaging. Engaging in what sense? Emotionally. It should be emotionally engaging. So the reason why most people completed that video is because they could emotionally empathize with that person, the African guy. So he was bitten by a cobra. That's a fate that none of us wants for ourselves. And so people engaged because they want to see the end of that. They want to see what is going to happen. So it's emotionally engaging plus curiosity driving or picking. So it picks some curiosity. Plus it's different or original. I mean, where are you gonna see a black lion? I don't think of any place where you could have seen a black lion except that video. Now, of course, many people do that, but this is a very and highly creative thing to do. And also, it's a different in the sense that the guy is actually friends with that black lion. So that's a weird thing because that's not something you see every day. So all the elements of the hook are crazy. That's why it was very engaging. It kept people watching. This is something interesting. Now I must add plus interesting because people will stop if something is interesting. Number two is a strong buildup to pretty much saving the character. So in this case, the hero arc. So in this case, usually hero intervenes, looks for help. Now, at number three, everything is set in motion. Usually, here you should introduce the side characters that assist the hero. In this case, the hero was the lion, and they're assisting him to save the main character. And we end up at number four, happy ending. Do not get me wrong. The happy ending here is basically that hero is saved and doing well. So it's not an accident that most successful channels use a framework such as this. All of them pretty much use a framework such as this. They usually sometimes do it different. They do like a bully situation where somebody's getting bullied, then they go really in a desperate situation, uh, and they're very desperate. There's no way out for them that seems to be on the horizon to improve and to be better. But then all of a sudden the hero appears and saves them and takes gets helps them get revenge from the bully, and then it's done. But pretty much all the videos that go viral, they have a lot of similarities. It's pretty much what I've explained here. All right, so now let's get started. I'm actually going to close Grok for a second because we need to work on the branding of the channel, starting by the logo creation. So let's say this is also a survival channel. I'm going to first and foremost take the URL of this channel as a comparison. Actually, I have a doubt. Should I use Google Gemini or should I use ChatGPT? You know what? I'm going to use Gemini because it has access to YouTube since it's a Google company and YouTube is owned by Google. So I think I'm going to use them instead. So here I'm going to click on the create image option and I'm going to start by saying I want to create a survival AI YouTube channel that shows wilderness life, and in some cases we show the saving of sick animals or an animal caught by a poacher or a snake or a guy or someone bitten by a snake. So basically, it's about saving what can be saved. I have an example. Competitor channel as follows is the URL. And in between brackets, I could paste the URL of that channel, and then I could say they are doing extremely well. Model after them and provide me a great channel name. So the initial thing you need to start with usually is the channel name. And then usually we do the channel logo. As far as the banner is concerned, as you can see here, it's not so important, okay? So they just pretty much put pictures of monkeys here. And then here they have a gorilla because it seems that the gorilla was pretty much a very big supportive actor, right? For the most part. The gorilla is present in multiple videos as a hero of some sorts. All right, your competitor the primal age succeeds because their name invokes a sense of da da da. Okay, so I'm not gonna read all that to be honest. That's way too much. The epic era, da 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 da. The guardian. Come on, it's giving me way too much. Way too much. I'm gonna say the vital epic. What is that? I will say, or I want a channel that feels like wilderness. So I think it would be interesting to kind of have the word wilderness included there. The deep untamed, the shadowed wild, the silent frontier, the breeding woods, terra firma, the savage timber, the stark horizon, the rugged range, stone and There's so many options here. It's almost difficult to kind of choose one. I think that at the end, I'm probably gonna go with Wilderness Pulse. All right. Okay. So I'm gonna say I like this one. Now generate a YouTube logo for my channel. Now I have to be careful here because I must put the exact channel name that I want. The Wilderness Pulse. The Wilderness Pulse. I'm not sure if that's okay. Wilderness Survival. That's a very generic name, but I think that it's actually one of the best choices that I can make. So I think I'll go with it. And now here, notice that the logo that they've created here is kind of like black and white. I'll see which logo it generates for us first, and then we can start optimizing from there. So here, I don't like this one at all. I don't think this is really gonna, appeal to anybody. So I'm gonna say I want the symbol of my channel to be. Now let's try to think of an animal that would be the companion of our hero character, because I will have a hero character, so that the hero, so to be a wolf. They did an African kind of series. We're gonna actually try to do a different one, maybe in like the Yellowstone or something like this. The wolf. It's Yellowstone survival. A man amongst the wolves. Also, the logo should be black and white, minimalist. There's a type of logo which is called the minimalist logo. Go to Google for some extra detail. Minimalist logo. If you study logos, then you can tell. These are the types of logos I'm talking about. This is not a minimalist one. Minimalists usually don't have much color, and they're very simple, but at the same time very efficient. Top brands have these types of logos. So Yellowstone Survival, but I mean the name of the channel should not be Yellowstone Survival. But then again, I think that it's a pretty cool name, so I'm gonna go with it. But I don't like that logo. I'm gonna say I don't like that logo. Get some inspiration from this one. So in this case, I'm gonna go and take this particular image here and paste it, because I want it to kind of get inspiration from it and provide me with a logo kind of similar. Not to say that this one is bad, it's actually pretty nice, but I think we can do better. I don't think I really need to include any text whatsoever. So now that we have this logo, I'm going to go to canva.com because I want to ensure something. It's okay if the logo has a background, it has a white background. We're going to keep it that way. So right here, I'm going to click on the create option. Now, usually with YouTube, it should be a square resolution. So 512 by 512 will do. I think that they'll ask for 500 by 500, but 512 by 512 should also do. It's not so, there's not such a big difference. Now I'm going to copy this logo right here. I'm going to come back and just paste it into Canva. And I'd like to increase the size of it, but do not increase it so much, because if you do it like this, then these parts will end up bleeding out and they'll end up being hidden when you upload your logo into Canva. So just ensure that it's somewhere in the center like this. And now I could keep that text. Actually, I'll keep it. There's no need for me to remove it. And I don't need to do any other edit besides Yellowstone Survival logo and download. 512 by 512. I will not go for a transparent background simply because this is a logo with a white background, so I don't need to apply any transparent background whatsoever. And now, as I said, when it comes to the banner, it's not really important, but if you must insist, you can ask Gemini to generate a YouTube channel banner for me, no text included. Mainly just an image of a man among wolves. All right. So here we have a pretty good banner. I'd like to copy it. We have our logo. Now, when it comes to the banner, to create a better or a good looking banner, go to canva.com and you can search for the term keyword using YouTube banner. So with YouTube banner, obviously here I have a bunch of banners, but I think that it would be better if you click on create and then search for YouTube, and then they'll give you the options, and then you need to choose the banner because there is a specific size to a banner. And if we had more time, we could go through this. I think we might go through it. It's not a big deal. So Yellowstone survival banner. I would say YouTube banner to be precise. And as far as that banner is concerned, I'd like to copy and paste this, but there is something you need to pay attention to. So in my uploads, I have a template which I will attach to this particular video of this course or this lecture as a resource, and it's called the YouTube banner template. And I'm going to increase the size of it so as to fit the screen perfectly, and I'm going to position it in the backward. So look closely. First of all, I would like to lock the position of this here. And now I can only move this one, but this one is not going to move because it's locked. So this area, red area, is what people will see when they're browsing on a phone. If they're browsing on desktop, they will only see this area that I outlined. If they're browsing on TV, they will be able to view everything, including those areas. And so that's why here, because this is a desktop, you see that they're only able to view this portion. But generally, if I were to open the image in a new tab, yeah, well, they'll not show me the upper portions, but they'll only be able to see that. Now, when you're usually optimizing your image, you can just do it like this, increase the size up until the top, and but people will only be able to see these wolves. They will not be able to see the man. If you want people to be able to see the guy on that picture, you have to ensure that the guy is pretty much in that red area. So if I reduce the transparency right now, they will be able to view him. Another trick that I could apply to increase this image size is to use the edit tool. There's one option which is called the image upscaler. And what the image upscaler does, actually, I'm sorry, not the image upscaler. In the Magic Studio, there's an option called the Magic Expand. I can expand the whole page by adding more or by expanding the image. That's what it means. So it's called out painting. So as you can see now, the image is bigger because the AI or Canva's AI kind of thought of a better way or the best way to expand this image. And I'm going to lean towards this one. Done. So this now can be put in the background. If I were to unlock this template, if I were to lower the transparency, you can see that the guy, we can see him here, all right? And we can see that he's in the company of wolves. Now I can get rid of this template because it's just a template. Make sure that my image is full transparency. I can click the edit tool, auto adjust, and voila. You can download your YouTube banner. This is the size of it. Remember it, 2560 by 1440. If you're using Canva, they know the exact measures. Okay? That's a cool thing about Canva. All right, now that we have the necessary elements, a logo, a name, and a banner, there's not much left. And so what's left is going to be in the second part. Now, as far as the description, you can make your own description. In this case here, he didn't really write anything about the channel. He just wrote, please help me reach 500,000 followers. Thank you very much. And that's that. So now that we have planned the channel, the next tutorial is going to be about character design, the hero, the supporting characters, which are mostly going to be wolves, a bear, for instance, and maybe deer. So we're going to try to design a bunch of characters for the channel, and then I'm going to show you how you can use those characters to create consistent videos using Grok with consistent characters. That's it, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.